Think of everything you know. Everything that makes you remarkable. Everything that makes you, you. Where do you bring it to thrive? Where do you unlock your ambition? At the University of Kent, we make our mark together in a community that celebrates individuality and equality, champions human rights, and embraces entrepreneurial spirit. Because the University of Kent is more than a place. It is a collective of groundbreakers, risk takers, change makers, creative thinkers, and blue sky dreamers. Where we move forward together, it's time for the world to know that we make ambition count. The University of Kent.
Hi everyone, welcome to the University of Kent's live virtual open day. We are standing here in the Collier Fergus Hall room in Canterbury campus. My name is Emma and I'm the Senior International Officer here at Kent.
And I'm Ariana, I'm a Student Recruitment Officer here at Kent. We have 3 campuses of study here at the University of Kent, 2 of which are in the UK. This includes our Canterbury campus, where we are today, and our Medway campus, which is about half an hour away from here. These are connected by a free shuttle bus. We also have a postgraduate centre in Paris, which focuses on subjects relating to the arts. So have a look at the subject you're thinking of studying and where you might be based. But for today, we are in the Canterbury campus and we're really looking forward to showing you around.
Perfect, so we are live, so please do feel free to pop your questions in the Q&A. We have our wonderful team working busy behind the scenes. They're on hand to answer any questions you might have about studying at the University of Kent. So what exactly are we going to be covering today? Well, firstly, we're going to talk about accommodation and give you a bit of insight into what it's like to study and also to live at our Canterbury campus.
And then we're going to be talking to some of our current students about student life and the support that you can receive throughout your time studying with us.
Perfect. So without further ado, we'll kick off. Let's meet some of our current students and find out what it's like to study at Kent and find out a bit more about the courses that are available to you. Hi everyone, welcome back. I am here with the lovely Emily, who is one of our current students here. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah, having a good day.
Perfect. And you are currently doing a master's here at Kent, is that right?
Yeah, so I'm currently a master's student and I'm doing my master's by research. So I have no classes or anything. I have to write 40,000 word thesis and I'm doing it in history, looking at the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom.
Perfect. Can you tell a little bit about the the project that you're working on?
So I look at the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom between 1934 and 1946. And I look at the British section and how they kind of plan for peace and develop their peace.
Perfect. So when you decided to do a Masters of Research, how did you go about thinking about the proposal that you wanted to focus on?
So the first thing I thought about was who I wanted my supervisors to be. So I had an idea of roughly who I wanted my supervisors to be and what they kind of specialized in. And then I kind of looked at what I really loved. So I wrote down kind of 3 or 4 bullet points of things I really enjoyed and then developed that into a project.
Perfect. And I know that you studied your undergrad here at Kent, is that right?
Yeah, so I studied an undergrad here at Kent and I did it in history as well. And I had lots of different modules. I did modules in early medieval Europe, right up to really modern British history.
Perfect. So one of the things we get asked quite a lot, particularly from international students, is modules, how to go about selecting them, what kind of options there are, because I know many courses they have compulsory modules and optional modules. Can you give a little bit more information about that?
Yeah, so depending on what course you'll take, depend on how many compulsory modules you have, which modules you have to take, and then more modules that you get to choose. For history, I had a really wide range of choices, and that was something I thought about when applying for university. I wanted to go somewhere where I had kind of more choice, more control. And then you also want to look at who's teaching them. You might have someone who you really admire their research, or you're really interested in that, and also how they're assessed. So some might be essays, some might be, I had a mixture of like blogs and presentations, so that kind of drew me to
Perfect. And why did you choose Kent?
I chose Kent for a few reasons. The first thing is it's a lovely campus. It's a campus-based university, which means everything is all in one place. So you have kind of cafes, restaurants, your lectures, your gym, and it's also really beautiful. There's lots of greenery and lots of green space. I also chose Kent because the lectures were really lovely. When I came for an open day, they were really excited about the subject. And then also a little bit about module choice. I wanted to have that choice and look at certain subjects.
And what advice would you give to particularly international students who are looking for their courses? How did you go about thinking you wanted to do this?
So the subjects I did at school, so my level 2 and level 3 qualifications, I did history, and I really enjoyed that subject, kind of the one I was passionate about, so I knew I wanted to move on and do that at university. You also might want to go to different open days. A lot of them are online like this. This is a great event to kind of work out what university suits you. And you can also get in contact with lecturers by email if there's someone you're particularly interested in, or you want to kind of learn a bit more about the module before you start.
Perfect. And I know obviously you're doing a research master's, but we also do have at Kent taught masters as well. So perhaps you might give a bit more information about the difference between a research master's and a taught master's.
So a research master's, you get to choose kind of one topic that you research for the whole time. And it's about 40,000 words. And you have a supervisor who will help you kind of meet them at least once a month. And you do your own research. So for me, that was going into the archives. The taught masters is a little bit different. The first few terms you'll have classes, so you'll have lectures, which are like in a big hall like this, where a lecturer will stand up and talk to you, and then you also have classes, and then you'll do a project.
Perfect. And what advice would you give to students who are looking to apply for the January programs?
I think the deadline is coming quite soon, so I'd get working on your proposal and your application, get people to read over it, maybe friends, family, and maybe one of your past teachers at school or college, and really just have a look around at the open days as well if you're not quite sure what you need. Yeah.
Perfect. And we do get asked quite a lot of questions about sort of what's the difference between a lecture and a seminar, because that might not be something that a lot of students are familiar with.
So a lecture is in a big hall. You might have between kind of 50 and 200 students, and the lecturer will stand up and give a lecture on the topic. Usually it will be based on their research, so the lectures will be kind of at the forefront of research. And then seminars are more class-based, so you'll be in a class between 10 and 20 students, where you'll discuss maybe the readings, or you'll discuss theory, or you'll discuss certain questions, or kind of exams coming up, so have more of a discussion.
So I presume that in seminars, it's really important for students to be active, engaged, and also come prepared to speak as well.
Yeah, so you'll have kind of contact hours where you're in university, where you have lectures and seminars, but you'll also have lots of free time where you're able to prepare for seminars. Sometimes that's doing reading, sometimes that's doing projects or presentations. But yeah, the more active you are in seminars, the better, the more you get out.
And thinking about the modules that you did, particularly for your undergrad, how were they assessed?
So they're assessed in a range of ways. Primarily, they were essays, so between kind of 1,500 words right there up to 6,000 words, depending on what module you took and what year. I also had presentations. Some of them I did on my own, some of them were group projects, and then I had to write a few blogs, which I found were fun, trying to write for a public audience. I think that enhances your skill set.
Excellent. Another question we get asked a lot about is class sizes. How many students are on your undergraduate degree that you did?
So I think it was about 150 students. So you'd have some lectures where they'd all be in there and it's a little bit overwhelming. And then kind of the modules that you get to pick anywhere between kind of 30 and 50 students in their lectures. And then the class sizes were between 10 and 25.
And in terms of the students that are with you, were they mainly home-based, international, a really good mix?
It tends to be quite a good mixture. You get to meet lots of different students. I think that really enhances your seminar experience because you get to share your ideas and hear different ideas from other people. And it's especially fun when you have group projects.
Perfect. And lastly, to sort of focus on some of the academic support that you get here at Kent, what sort of things will the university offer to students whilst they're studying?
So the University of Kent has the Student Learning Advisory, which is kind of a department that will help you with writing your essays. That also help you with like numeracy skills if you're struggling. We also have the Employability Service, which helps you with your CVs. They run lots of events to help you kind of gain employment or summer internships or work experience. And then they also have the Student Support and Wellbeing, which will provide pastoral care, but they also will help you if you have specific disability where you need extra academic support.
And of course, you have your one-to-one tutor as well throughout your studies.
Yeah, so if you're undergraduate, you have a tutor or an advisor that you'll meet. Usually I met mine once a term, and you can go to them for any issues you're having with the course, or if you want kind of a reference for a job. And then as a postgraduate, you'll have your supervisors. So I have 2 supervisors, and again, they have a similar role. They also guide me in my research.
And how often would you meet your supervisors on average?
So usually I meet them once a month is required, but sometimes I meet them a little bit more often informally if I've written loads that month, or I want help with other things, like I recently did a conference, so I wanted their help with preparing a presentation and practicing and things like that.
And during your time, both at your undergrad and your postgrad, you hung out and you met other students from different kind of subject areas. What was their experience of their time at Kent?
I'd say most people I've spoken to have really enjoyed the time at Kent. I certainly have, and that's kind of the experience you have with other students. There's lots of opportunities, both research and more fun to develop kind of research skills and more.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Emily, for giving us your insight, and love hearing about your experience at Kent and obviously about your studies. And I do wish you the very best of luck with the rest of your year. If you do have any questions about courses, about how to apply, then don't forget to use the Q&A function. Our lovely team are on standby to help you answer any questions you have about courses. We're now going to hand over to Ariana, who is in our accommodation block, to give you a tour about the rooms there.
So,
how did we meet?
I went out to the deep end for an event in my freshers week, right? With my flatmates at the time. We used to live in Block 3 in Pier Keys. It was great vibes. And we all went out, we had a great time, came back, and on the way back, I had gotten a kebab, you know, classic end of the night thing. Those vibes.
As you should.
As you should, obviously. And we walked back, and it was something like 2 a.m. or something, and we're walking back, and it was just you and 2 other people sat there, vibing,
2 a.m.
living your life, yeah.
Normal life.
And I was like, they know what's up.
My first recollection of you is just hearing from other people, like just friends in common. But then we actually became friends during the pandemic.
Yeah, that was a big turning point.
Yeah.
Because we were just left here by ourselves.
Yeah.
So we decided to create this like social bubble.
Yeah, it was like a little family for the pandemic.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. Like, we always hung out at yours here in Pier Keys because you made like... Basically, your flat was really nice, and we had like the kitchen was turned into a living room pretty much. So it was like really cool to just like sit there and chill and like cook, play Wii games,
literally. Oh my god,
watch films, and then that led us to leadership elections last year.
Yes. Oh my god.
Kent Union. Last year I ran for Vice President Academic Experience, which is basically just representing students' academic interests. And that involves looking after student reps, which you were a student rep.
I
was never a student rep.
You know, in the beginning, we were talking, like when we were running for elections, you didn't know if like the VP of Academic Experience was really like the role for you or like what it would entail.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it now? Like, do you think it's like a really important role or not?
Well, of course it is. Everyone comes to uni to study.
Exactly.
And, you know, especially in these really like volatile times, changing times, you need to be there in every single meeting, every single week, saying, you know, on a day-to-day what students are thinking and feeling, because things change so fast. You have to be there representing what students want every single day.
And it's directly your remit.
Yeah, exactly. So it feels really empowering and, you know, makes me feel strong.
Yeah,
proud.
I love that. Because I did 3 years here and I did a year in Canterbury now, it gave me that well-rounded experience that I can say like wholeheartedly that I can represent both those campuses perfectly well. We have 3 Medway people on the opposite
so
team.
diverse, you know, queer people, people of colour, international people. It's just amazing to have a team like that because all the students everywhere, and Medway in particular is very diverse, but in Canterbury as well.
Exactly.
And I think that having a team like us is what's going to make it really, really worthwhile. And
I'm really excited for this year. I think we're going to make a real impact and be able to really shape the future of Kent. That's
I'm
a
so
big
excited.
thing. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm in Wolf, our on-campus postgraduate accommodation. This accommodation is specifically designed for our postgraduate students, and we have a range of different people living here from different disciplines, including international students. So it's a really nice opportunity to meet like-minded individuals and to socialise whilst living here. So let's see if we can take a look at one of the rooms.
Guys, I wasn't even expecting you. Welcome. My name is Brianna. I'm a second year PhD student in higher education. Let me show you my room. So, first, we have my lovely little bedding area here. And it does come with underbed storage. So if you lift your mattress up, it's got these lovely little fans on the side. So whatever you store down there, you never have to worry about anything happening to it. It'll always get a good airflow and stuff under my bed. Same thing for above my lovely wardrobe here, because as an American, of course, I came with 5 million suitcases, and I put them on top of my wardrobe when I don't need them. Over here is my desk area. You did catch me when I was getting a little bit of work done. I hope you don't mind. But the best thing about my desk area is that it does come with these great shelves with all of the storage space, so I could bring photos from home, which helps me being so far away, as well as all my school books and a little bit of plant life, because don't we all want to be plant parents one day? But let me show you my kitchen, okay? Let's go. Oh, one more thing before we go. Let's not forget the bathroom. And I love it because you don't have to share with anyone. It's all mine. It's the best. Let's go take a look at that kitchen.
Hello, thank you so much for showing us your living space. I was just wondering if you could also show us around the kitchen and what things you do here.
Oh my gosh, of course I can. Okay, so let's start with our lovely little dishes and such. We do share all the space with the rest of my flatmates. So we kind of have a bit of a cooking schedule, but overall it's pretty easy. We share all the pots and pans, as well as the oven and the hob usage. I normally don't get the chance to use the oven unless I'm in the mood for fresh baked cookies or something, maybe a good Sunday roast. But otherwise, I'm normally just using the hobs. We have a dining area as well as like a seating area over here. And honestly, I spend more time here just kind of having my flatmate just talking than I do anything else. We put all of our mail here, or you like things we get into the flat and such, all like that. We also have a lovely kettle and microwave. They come in all the kitchens, which helps because I'm such a coffee person. I am a demon without my coffee in the morning. So the hob comes in handy, as well as like we get this giant fridge. We also each get our own fridge to share. So I never have to worry about like my flatmates like eating my food or nibbling on my favorite snacks right when I get home. So that's about it for the kitchen. I'll pass it on over.
Brilliant, thank you so much for showing us around. So you live here in the Wolf College accommodation. Are there any other accommodation options for students?
Oh my gosh, for students, there's a ton of accommodation options. It really just depends more on cost, location on campus that you're looking for. You know, if you want to be close to the library, or like Wolf, we're close to Darwin, which is one of the bus stops, as well as the banking, the movie theater. And I love movies, so that's why I chose so it just depends on what exactly you're looking for, and then you just kind of decide.
Perfect. Yes, we do have the Wolf flat as well as studios and also housing options as well. It tends to be about 5 to 8 people living in these Wolf flats. As I say, lots of opportunities to socialise with people. Do you find that you often socialise with the flatmates?
Oh gosh, yes, 100%. I love my flatmates. And really, when I first moved here, obviously I'm not from the UK. It was a bit concerning. I was a bit nervous coming in, not knowing anyone. And my flatmates were great in like showing me around campus and being just kind of that friend that I really didn't have anyone quite yet. And now that I've made more friends outside of my flat, we just all come together as one.
Great, thank you. And are there social activities that happen on the campus for postgraduate students to get involved with?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So there is a postgrad network. So they plan events for postgrad specifically. We have like postgrad coffee socials, and we'll do wine nights and all that fun stuff. But also, Wolf has a residence life ambassador, which they go around and plan events for all the students, not just postgrads. You get the opportunity to meet other people who maybe aren't necessarily in your same field of study, but are still here just trying to make it like you are. So you often see like the Res Life ambassadors out taking like surveys and things to make sure they're planning events to actually appeal to postgrads. Because obviously it has to be good enough to kind of pull us away from our schoolwork. It has to be a really good social setting. So we want to see what would they like to see. I believe our next upcoming event is a pony ride. So postgrads are invited to sign up and ride a pony around the Pratt-Legal campus, one of our local campuses.
Perfect. What that means if you're also a commuting student, or if you live in the city and commute off, or you live at home commuting to campus, there's loads of opportunities to meet other postgraduate students, get involved in some of the social activities that happen here, and make friends as well. So you don't necessarily have to live in the accommodation to be able to access those opportunities. Even if you are commuting and choosing at home, you can still access those from the web. So can you tell us a little bit about, obviously you are really friends with your flatmates, but if you potentially have any issues or complications, is there a support process in place to be able to talk you through that or go through that process?
Oh yeah, most definitely. That was something I was very worried about coming in. I didn't want to upset any of my flatmates, especially the ones but we do have those actors. When I first moved in, they gave me information about the Race Life ambassadors, one as well, and they're more so here to like facilitate those hard conversations. Like, you have to go to your flatmate and say, "Hey, you left the dish in the sink for 5 weeks. Can we talk about it?" That's a bit awkward to pose to someone that you maybe aren't as close with, unlike myself, who loves their flatmates. So that Red Life ambassador is we're still there to kind of help have that hard conversation. They're going to be acting as like that impartial third party. And that's kind of your first, what I would say is like your first line of defense if you have that problem. From there, you can definitely move. There is a process, it's very easy. From what I've heard. But that is also available. Of course, they're probably going to lead with trying to get you to work out with your flatmates. But ideally, they want social, interactive living situation and not having to leave a very comfortable situation that somebody couldn't just talk about.
Brilliant. So lots of support in place. And you yourself are living in accommodation here at the moment. How did you find the application process in terms of applying to an accommodation and deciding where was the best fit for you?
I actually found the accommodation process really easy, to the point that when I filled out the accommodations application, I thought I'd done something wrong because it was so easy. I was like, I must be missing a step. Something's wrong here. Turns out I wasn't. Everything was very smooth. It's an online portal, and you go ahead and fill out the application. You'll get a confirmation email back, and then from there, you can honestly just wait until you get your room assignment. And then after you get your room assignment, there's still additional time. Often, if let's say you get a room assignment, you have time after your assignment to also call, like discuss it further, not obvious about it. But it was an overall very, very easy process. Accommodation was very communicative through the whole thing. I was able to get anyone on email and over the phone, surprisingly. I was calling from America. I was genuinely concerned they weren't. They did.
Great. So lots of support through that process. And if you are considering living on campus, we have lots of accommodation information online, including virtual tours. If you'd like to go and have a look at more of the accommodation, you can do that online as well. Just before we pass back over to Emma, I also just wanted to ask you, obviously we've got loads of different spaces to study on campus, including we saw your room, which is a lovely study space, and also kitchen here as well. We do also have a range of study spaces across the campus for our postgraduate students. Where is your favourite place to study on the campus?
Gosh, I have to pick just one. I would say for postgrads, I really enjoy Senate. It's already a dedicated postgrad space, so only postgrads can access it. But because of that, it's always like so perfectly serene and quiet, and it's got lots of windows. Like the light just kind of streams in so beautifully. It's like a nice, very serene workplace. I enjoy it, and you can print there. Definitely a plus. If I'm not in the mood to go to Senate, I'll go to one of the study corrals in Templeman. You can book them online in the library. And they're basically just like a dedicated desk area that has a lock and a lamp and everything. So if I need to step away from the desk, maybe go print, maybe go to the bathroom or grab a snack, I never have to worry. I can lock the door behind me to the study floor. I can leave my things, I can leave my laptop, no problem. And it's very private. It does have like an open window with a lot of study crowds. So you get to look down at the library cafe on the first floor, and you really get a nice dose of people watching. I don't know if you're people watching, but I'm a people watcher, and it's really great for like if I need to take a quick brain break, I can just look out at the cafe and also write down this coffee. So win-win.
Brilliant, amazing. Hopefully we'll be able to see some footage of our campus today. Can I just ask you before you come to the next section, what made you choose Wolf as your accommodation place?
Oh gosh. I actually chose Wolf because it has largely postgrads. Not that I don't love all the other accommodations on campus, but I knew I was coming in as a postgrad, so I wanted to be surrounded by others who are kind of in that same space. I know that uni students want to have fun, they want to do that whole yeah thing. And I didn't want to be like the wet blanket who says, hey, I got to study tonight, guys. I don't want to. So I shot for an opportunity to be amongst as many postgrads as possible. And Wolf, being a postgrad community, was the perfect option for me. And I really liked that I was able to have flatmates. I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to come in and not know anyone or anyone who was familiar with the UK's practices. It was very different from America. So.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you very much for showing us around your accommodation and your kitchen today. It's been great to see some examples of what it might be like to live on the campus. And as you say, everyone's got their own different preferences and things they're looking for in their accommodation, and we've got a range of different options to fit everyone's needs as well. So those of you who are watching at the moment, do have a look at the accommodation options that we have and what might best suit you. But for now, I'm going to pass back over to Emma to talk to some other students, learn a bit more about what the student experience might be like more broadly here at the university.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm delighted to say that I am joined with Pete, who is a recent postgraduate student here at Kent. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good.
Good, good. And what did you study at Kent?
I did history and philosophy of art. It was a taught master's, so I basically had 2 semesters of classes, and then after that, I had to finish a 14,000 word dissertation.
And you finished that quite recently.
Yeah, very recently. So kind of just recovering from that.
I bet you're relieved the dissertation is done.
Definitely.
And why did you choose Kent to do your postgraduate studies?
So I did an undergrad in a different subject, which is philosophy. And then after that, I kind of wanted to do history of art and philosophy of art because one of the modules I took. So I looked around and not many universities offer history of art and philosophy of art at the same time. And Kent does that at the School of Arts. And my supervisor had really, really interesting research topics. So I came to him and he also supervised my dissertation. that's been great.
And I'm right in thinking that you did your undergraduate studies in a London university, is that right?
Yes, yes.
And what made you decide to come to Kent?
I grew up because I'm from Singapore, so I grew up all my life kind of in very big city settings, and London was very similar. So for especially after the pandemic, I wanted my postgrad life to have a bit more of that chill kind of balance because Canterbury is not very far from London, only 55 minutes away, and I get to be I get to choose when I get to nip over to London or if I just want to relax and stay in Canterbury.
Did you enjoy the campus experience while you were here?
Oh yeah. So my uni in London was very spread out and everything it wasn't very cohesive. But here, because it's just one campus and everything is on campus, we have a supermarket. So it's very convenient and the experience is just very different in terms of just like student bonding and just how it feels.
And I think, particularly as an international student, you may not be familiar with the sort of campus experience. That's something we get asked quite a lot. So can you give a bit more in detail about what facilities are like here at Canterbury?
Oh yes. So Canterbury campus is it's divided into colleges, and each college kind of has its own accommodation. So if you choose to live on campus, that will be managed by an office that's on site. And like I said, we have like supermarkets, we have a gym, we have field and sports facilities. Or if you want to play like rugby, if you want to play basketball, if you want to play football, all that kind of stuff's really good. Everything else is kind of just really, really close together. So we also have a theater, the Gulbenkian, that also does theater productions and a cinema on campus. And the co-op, I believe, is still 24/7. So that's just very, very convenient to have. It's also very close to the town center. So you could walk down and it takes about 20-ish minutes, or you could take the bus down. So.
And when you were a student, did you participate in any of the clubs and societies that we have here at Kent?
Yes, yes. I was in Creative Writing Society for a little while, and I had a kind of quick look around. I think there are over 200 student societies on the uni, so it's really based on your interests and how much you want to get involved with societies, because you can really pick and choose, and just it's about how you want to divide your time across your studies and kind of just club and societies.
Would you advise students to get involved and participate in as much as they can?
Oh no, definitely. So at the beginning, I kind of buried my head in the books a little bit too much. And as the year went on, I was like, oh, I need more like social interaction. I need to keep myself occupied with other things. And there were plenty of other things to look, just going around. And if you just like took a look, and you can just decide which things you want to be involved in and which not. But I would definitely recommend being more involved.
And the other thing that we get asked a lot about is, particularly for international students, is what is the food like here on campus?
Oh, so each of the colleges have their own kind of little cafe, and the food, they do student meal deals, so it's very affordable. Food's good as well. And then in Canterbury town center, there's also very nice variety. So you have Japanese food, you have Vietnamese food now. You have obviously a lot of pubs where you can do traditional English food. So there's a lot more than you'd think. There's also like Five Guys and I think Franco Manca Pizza. So it's a lot.
Lots to choose from then.
Yeah, very much.
And thinking about sort of the wider Canterbury area, how much did you explore when you were studying?
I think I almost did the Crab and Winkle walk, which basically it's a 2-hour walk. It's quite scenic, and you can walk over to Whitstable, which is a lovely kind of seaside town of a pebble beach. It's quite historic as well. If not, I walked with a friend to Chartham, which is past kind of like gardens, because it's kind of Garden of England, and Canterbury is a very nice area. So you could walk, you can take a bus over to Herne Bay, Broadstairs, there by the sea. Broadstairs is very nice. And I've been to Margate once where there's Dreamland, which is like a historic kind of theme park type thing. So there's lots to do in Kent itself.
And for those viewers who are not familiar with Canterbury City Centre, how would you describe it?
Oh yes, it's historical because there's the cathedral, which is, I think it's the base of the Church of England. Yeah, Archbishop of Canterbury. So it's got huge kind of. The cathedral itself is, I think, yeah, if you're a student, it's free. But obviously that has just a very rich history. They run tours, and in general, it's just, I think parts of it are refurbished, but it has that really old like rustic vibe as well. So I really recommend just touring the city.
And it's a very kind of international location. Lots of tourists and visitors come to Canterbury every year.
Yes, yes, yes. So oftentimes, if you're in the town center, you see a lot of visitors from elsewhere, and you see a lot of tour groups with their flags, and it's quite cute. It's always very lively.
And I know certainly at both Canterbury and Medway, the students we have here are from a very international background. So you yourself as an international student, can you sort of describe your time here as an international student?
Oh yeah, so in terms of other international students, I've known like people who are from Japan doing comparative literature. One of my course mates was from America, also history and philosophy of art. I had another person who did the same modules, which was from Greece, and just a lot of people from kind of really diverse backgrounds. So, and then in terms of just how people here are very open. They're always ready to hear about your experiences and to share their own ones. So I never really felt like I wasn't really welcome, or that there wasn't really a space for me, like my views and kind of my experiences. So that's been a very positive experience.
And we've obviously spoken about kind of the more social aspects and the activities that are going on, the extracurricular sort of societies. But on the sort of the student support facilities, can you sort of give us an overview of what is available to students whilst they're studying?
Oh yes, so we have very useful kind of student support and well-being center where they run, they do consultations, they do they do screenings if you suspect you have ADHD or if you're struggling with like schoolwork. So they provide a lot of support for just general quality of life things outside of the student learning advisory service, just more academically focused.
And to finally finish off, what advice would you give to applicants who are looking to come in January?
I think definitely start now at least, because I think the deadline is coming closer. But don't be afraid to kind of include in your application your own set of experiences and stuff, because Kent cares a lot about diversity, and definitely research into your course and just tailor your application to your course.
I mean, I know that you said the deadlines are coming up. It is very, very fast, so people have to kind of get things moving quickly.
Yeah, definitely. So just make a load of drafts, send them out to people that you know so they can read them over. Talk to your supervisor, just get all of the legwork done, and then after that, I think you'll be golden.
Perfect. And in terms of kind of life after Kent, what are you doing now?
Right now, I'm waiting for my PhD to start in January, so I'm just kind of relaxing, taking a break, much needed break after my dissertation, and really just waiting to see how the new course is going to be, really.
And that's at Kent, you'll be doing your PhD?
Yeah. I'm still continuing at Kent because I get along with my supervisor. Like, I'm used to the environment, I quite like it, so.
And what is your research proposal?
Oh, I'm going to do something in philosophical aesthetics, so it's going to be about acquired taste. Because most scholars, they haven't written about acquired taste. Everyone just talks about whether tastes are subjective or whether they're objective. And I think they miss something in the experience of it that I want to look more deeply into.
And what would you say is the main reason why you want to continue your studies at Kent? Was there one particular reason?
Mainly it's for my supervisor. So he had a really diverse set of interests. I think he did philosophy of pornography, he did philosophy of food, and it was just like a very much more broad range of just research topics that he did, but also Kent has an aesthetics research center, and the department is very like interdisciplinary. So I also stayed for that.
And looking back when you applied for your master's, what advice would you give to students in terms of their application? I'm thinking mainly about their personal statement, because that is something that a lot of students do struggle with in terms of how they can formulate their personal statement. Have you got any tips?
Oh, if it's a personal statement, so definitely just know what's going on in university, because you can find a lot of information on the website, and just kind of imagine how you would be spending your time here as a student and just include that. I think that would be very helpful.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Keith, for all of your time today and sharing your wonderful insights and your experiences about Kent. Now we will hand over to a video to talk a little bit about our Templeman Library and the other information service available to students.
Welcome to the Templeman Library, at the heart of the University of Kent's Canterbury campus. You are sure to spend a lot of time here while you are studying at Kent. Whether it's using books from the extensive collections or enjoying the amazing views across the Kent countryside whilst you study. The library has so much to offer. 1 million books, 1,600 study spaces, a 250-seat lecture theatre, seminar and digital classrooms, a library cafe, unique archives and special collections including the British Stand-Up Comedy Archive and the British Cartoon Archive, exhibition space and gallery, and an award-winning library team and building. There are lots of different study spaces to choose from. Select from individual and group study spaces or choose a silent environment. Want to work in a group? Book a group study room or booth. Or would you rather work on your own? Reserve an individual study carrel. You will find PCs on all floors and spaces with power sockets. And there are print copy scan machines on every floor too. You can print in black and white or in colour. Check out the digital screens or online for available PCs and study spaces. Finding and borrowing books in the Templeman Library is simple and self-service. You can borrow 40 items at one time. Locating books in the library is easy. You may have a reading list on Moodle that links to the books you need. Look them up on Library Search using a library resource terminal, laptop or phone at kent.ac.uk/library-IT. If your book is available, note the block, floor, row and finally the class mark where your book is located. You can reserve books that aren't on the shelves. Check out your books at borrow and renew machines on each floor. Use the return point in the welcome hall and book drop outside the Library Road entrance to return your books. Need help with finding books, e-resources, connecting online or IT support? Ask the IT and Library Support Desk. And do follow us on socials for tips, news and events.
Hello everyone, welcome back. We are in the music hall. We do have a few questions that have come up throughout the live stream, so I'm just going to answer a few of those now. One of the questions that's come up quite frequently is around scholarships and eligibility. Emma, could you give us a bit more information on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the good news is we have lots of scholarships available for our January intake. I would recommend having a look on our website because there's a full list of all of the scholarship funding opportunities we have. There are some that are subject specific. So for example, the Global LLM Global Scholarship, which is specific for the law programs. We also have the Kent Early Bird Discount, which the deadline is the 10th of November. We also have a number of country-specific scholarships as well. So for example, if you are from countries such as India, Pakistan, Turkey, Ghana, Nigeria, you may be eligible for some other scholarships as well. Our scholarships ranges between sort of £2,000 up to £5,000. Each of them have different sort of criteria and eligibility. So it's really important to look on our website and make sure you read the fine print in terms of the deadlines, how to apply for them and what you need to do. Because many times our scholarships, you actually have to have an offer from Kent before you can actually apply for them. So it's really important to make sure you look at the website and check those deadlines.
Perfect. So a range of the scholarships available, including the early discount, which is for our Kent Business School specifically. Could I also just ask about the English language requirements? So if you've got any information about that, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So international students, you may have to take an English language test. The good news is that Kent currently accepts a wide range of tests. So we have test providers such as IELTS, Pearson, TOEFL, Language Certificate, the Oxford International. So there's lots of different options available. The one thing I would definitely recommend again is check on the website because every course has different entry requirements in terms of language. So for example, the law programs, you might need a higher requirement. I know for IELTS is usually 7, but for the business programs, it can be 6.5. So really do check on the individual course pages to see what the actual entry requirements are.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Hopefully that's answered some of your questions today. We do still have questions in the chat, so if you do have anything else you'd like to learn more about, do just drop us a message and one of our team will pick that up for you. We also have digital meet and greets happening with our international relations, law team and our Kent Business School. So if you'd like to find out more, do stay tuned and have a chat to those teams, as well as dropping us any questions you have in the chat. But for now, thank you so much for joining us today, and really look forward to welcoming you to the University.
Thank you. Bye.
Think of everything you know. Everything that makes you remarkable. Everything that makes you, you. Where do you bring it to thrive? Where do you unlock your ambition? At the University of Kent, we make our mark together in a community that celebrates individuality and equality, champions human rights, and embraces entrepreneurial spirit. Because the University of Kent is more than a place. It is a collective of groundbreakers, risk takers, change makers, creative thinkers, and blue sky dreamers. Where we move forward together, it's time for the world to know that we make ambition count. The University of Kent.